In a fractional reserve banking system, the bank does not have to keep all of the money on hand. It has to keep some in required reserves, and then it can loan out the rest in excess reserves. So let's pretend you are up at the top and you are going to deposit $100 into the banking system. So you're going to give $100 to the bank. The bank has a 25% reserve requirement. So that would mean that the bank is going to have to deposit 25% into required reserves, or $25. The rest of that money is going to go into excess reserves. Now, the bank is going to want to loan out as much of that excess reserves as possible, hopefully all $75, because that's how the bank actually makes money. Now, to find the multiplier in this problem, the multiplier is equal to 1 over the reserve requirement, or 0.25 in this problem. So when we plug that into our calculator, or how many quarters go into a dollar, the multiplier is 4. Now, to find out how much money was created in the banking system, you would take the multiplier, 4, times the original excess reserves of $75, and when you multiply that out, the actual money created by the original deposit was $300. Now let's consider another problem. You're still going to put $100 into the banking system. The bank reserve requirement is 50%, so $50 goes in the vault, $50 is in excess reserves. The multiplier is 1 over the reserve requirement, 0.5. So the multiplier is 2. The multiplier times the initial excess reserves of 50 means we can create $100 from the original $100 deposit. On to the two questions at the bottom. Which reserve requirement would you want to use during a recession? Well, the problem in the recession is that there's not enough money and we need to increase the money supply. The way to do that would be to lower the reserve requirement, or the 0.25 reserve requirement. During high inflation, one thing the Federal Reserve Bank might instigate is raising the reserve requirement to decrease the amount of money in circulation and make it the 0.5 or 50% reserve requirement. However, a huge increase like this would be a shock to the system. We're just looking at the theory behind which reserve requirement would be more likely to be used during high inflation. You would want to raise the reserve requirement, and then during a recession you'd want to lower the reserve requirement.